The music you have just heard invites us to arrive, to settle body and spirit, and to prepare for this time of worship. As an act of care for those gathered here and those joining us online, please silence your devices so that we may share this time in presence and connection. If you're visiting today, you're invited to fill out a card from the seat back and return it either at the welcome table in the back or in the offering plate, so we may extend our welcome to you. Please know that whoever you are, wherever you are from, whomever you love, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to San Gabriel Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or joining us online, whether for the first time or the 1000th time, we're glad you are here. My name is Fran Holt. My pronouns are she, her, and y'all. I'm honored to serve as your lay leader this morning. San Gabriel is part of a larger movement of Unitarian Universalist congregations working together for a just, peaceful, and sustainable world. Here in this community, we begin that work by sustaining one another in love.
Good morning. I'm Eric Hepburn. My pronouns are he, him. I'm honored to serve as your worship leader and pulpiteer this morning. Together we will enter a time of word and silence, of song and spirit, as we shape this time of worship together. Please recite after me the words to light our chalice. We light this flame to remind us. Love is the center. As we grow and connect, mature and deepen, love is our center. When the light of truth burns all else away. Love endures. Let us greet this day in song. Our calling in song is When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. It's number 1008 in the Teal hymnal. Lyrics will be projected and we'll sing all 3 verses. Please rise and body your spirit.
When our hearts above an amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom of each of us, every color, every kind, and we share lights in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. when our heart is in a holy place. When we tell the story from deep inside, and we listen with loving command, and we hear the voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed to love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of a sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, when our hearts of love and amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place.
Before we get to our Wonder Box, I have a joyful announcement to share with you. As of today, Mr. Kenneth Witherspoon, known affectionately here as Mr. Spoon, is officially joining our religious exploration team as a guide. We're excited to have him as a member of our RE team and staff, and grateful for all that he has already contributed as a member and volunteer. The Wonder Box reminds us that wisdom often comes in small packages, that curiosity is a sacred gift at every age. Candace White, our Director of Religious Exploration, will now share this time of learning and wonder with us.
Good morning. Everyone looks so beautiful today. Today is World Compliment Day. It's also March 1st. It's a brand new month with a brand new theme. This month, our theme is paying attention. So every Sunday, this is the Wonder Box. We open it up, we look inside, and we see how we're going to explore our monthly theme specifically for this week. So let's see how we're going to explore paying attention today. Okay, heart. What in the world does toothpaste and a heart have to do with paying attention?
Don't forget to brush your heart.
Let's pretend that this heart stands for the feelings of others. Hey, that's great. What a wonderful compliment. I was just trying to think of a compliment, so I'm going to squeeze a little toothpaste on this heart. Anybody have another compliment? Thank you. Yes.
You're super silly.
Oh, I'll take that as a compliment. Squeeze a little bit more. Yes.
Milo did a great job, and say you were doing a great job.
Milo did a great job. Squeeze a little bit more. Yes. Go ahead.
I think you're the best.
You think I'm the best? Oh, big squeeze. I'm just kidding. All right, so notice how the toothpaste sticks. We have a great impact with our words on what we say to others, and we can make that impact an awesome impact by paying attention to those around us and noticing what we appreciate about them, and then letting them know. So we're going to do that today in the Little House. May your song be our blessing as we travel that way to explore this more.
Surround hearts hold both joy and sorrow. Spoken here, they become healing medicine. If you wish to share, please raise your hand, begin with your name, and hold the microphone so that your voice flows into it. A brief word spoken with care can be enough medicine for us all. Thank you for sharing. And for all that remains unspoken, this community holds you in love. We now pause to honor the great world house of which we are a part, lifting up the needs, the hopes, and the voices beyond these doors. I've got two big things on my heart this morning, and it won't let me choose, so I'm doing both of them. First, I attended the memorial service for Reverend Meg Barnhouse yesterday. She was my minister for 11 years at First U Austin. She was a modern-day matriarch of Unitarian Universalism. In his sermon at her memorial, Reverend Jake Morrill told of how elephants stand vigil after the death of a matriarch. Elephants come from all around, even from neighboring bands, to stand and touch the bones and body of the departed beloved with their trunks. It's kind of like that. It was very much like that. Second, Iran. Can we hold a moment of silence, please, for the people of Iran, for the people of Israel, and yes, even for the people of the United States who are this morning all waking up to the real consequence of mass-producing nuclear weapons and other weapons of mass destruction and placing them in the hands of mortal men. Today's the first Sunday of Women's History Month. And one of the ways that we're celebrating is by centering women composers and performers in our Songs of Yearning and offertory selections. So we hope that you'll find some new artists to add to your repertoire. Our Song of Yearning this morning is Spiegel im Spiegel, composed by Arvo Part, performed by Amy Dixon on saxophone and Catherine Millage on piano. Let these words and melodies invite us into deeper presence, awareness, and attention. Remembering this, the skill we need to cultivate is the ability for our attention to return after it has wandered. No? Do I not have a video this morning? Okay. Okay, there was supposed to be a video there. All right. Well, I've preached that we have to learn to be agile. And so I'm going to take this and I'm going to interpret it in the following way. This is an invitation to do something else that's on my heart. I was going to save it till later in the service. One of Reverend Meg's gifts was a benediction that she wrote and that she would sing at the end of service. And so I'm going to invite y'all to sing it with me as our song of yearning this morning. I'm going to do my best to choke my way through it once, and then I'm going to invite you to join me and we'll sing it once together. Molly's nodding at me, so I think I'm on the right track here. And I am nowhere near the singer that she was. She had published albums. I usually get disciplined when I sing in public. Just so we're clear, this is an act of heart, not hubris. Remember the way of the wind, and breathe and blow. Remember the way of the fire, and sparkle and glitter and glow. Remember the way of the water, and ebb and flow. Remember the way of the earth and grow. Try it with me. Remember the way of the wind, and breathe and blow. Remember the way of the fire, and sparkle and glitter and glow. Remember the way of the water, and ebb and flow. Remember the way of the earth and grow. Thank you.
Let us enter a still place within, opening our hearts and minds to receive this voice of wisdom. After the words are spoken, we will breathe together in silence, preparing ourselves for the word unfolding among us. Today's voice of wisdom comes from Simone Weil. We have to try to cure our faults by attention and not by will. I'm going to repeat that. We have to try to cure our faults by attention, not by will. The will only controls a few movements of a few muscles, and these movements are associated with the idea of change of position of nearby objects. I can will to put my hand flat on the table. If inner purity, inspiration, or truth of thought were necessarily associated with attitudes of this kind, they might be the object of will. As this is not the case, we can only beg for them. Or should we cease to desire them? What could be worse? Inner supplication is the only reasonable way, for it avoids stiffening muscles which have nothing to do with the matter. What could be more stupid than to tighten up our muscles and set our jaws about virtue or poetry or the solution of a problem? Attention is something quite different. Pride is a tightening up of this kind. There is a lack of grace in the proud person. It is the result of a mistake. Attention, taken to its highest degree, is the same thing as prayer. It presupposes faith and love. Absolutely unmixed attention is prayer. If we turn our mind toward the good, it is impossible that little by little the whole soul would not be attracted thereto in spite of itself.
I've said recently from up here, this is a safe enough place to show up on days where you don't feel strong. And today's one of those days for me. So I'm going to trust y'all to hold me. So let's talk about Simone Weil a little bit. She was a Christian mystic, a philosopher. Like many young bright lights, she died too soon under less than ideal circumstances. Maybe I'll tell y'all a little bit about that. We're going to be exploring her life for this month. But here's what stuck with me. Here's why she ended up on the top of my batting list for this month. Besides the fact that she's another underappreciated woman in history. They aren't hard to find, by the way. Underappreciated women in history. It's simply an act of looking. Now, part of that is maybe the internet and the library and things of that nature are of such a quality that the looking isn't maybe so hard as it used to be. My wise friend Fran Holt knew to say this line twice, although it's only written once. We have to try to cure our faults by attention and not by will. God, what does that mean, though? By attention and not by will. Inner supplication is the only reasonable way. What are we supplicating ourselves to? What is it to which we are using this word that most of us would say the synonym is surrender? Is there a meaningful difference between supplication and surrender? I would say that there is. Surrender to me always has the connotation of you accepting something that deep in your heart you know you ought not accept. For example, something that smells like injustice to you. You might surrender to the existence of an injustice, but there is a part of you that knows that that doesn't make it right. And that there is something that has a smell of either guilt or shame about it, about surrendering to something that itself is not right. Supplication, I would argue, has a different connotation. Supplication is acknowledging the limited scope of one's own power in the face of what inarguably is. The world is bigger than each of us, and we are all implicated in it and part of it. We are all part of this web that creates and recreates it every day. But as Simone rightly says, and we all know through experience, us willing the world to be a different way doesn't work. Believe you me, if sitting here on this stool today, I could will us to stop using weapons of mass destruction as a country against others, it would be done. I would have already willed it to be so. Surrender would be, there's nothing I can do about these injustices. So I'm going to pretend they're not happening and go about my day. That's what surrender would sound like on my lips. Supplication is something different. Supplication is, this is happening. This is happening. And I bear my slice of the culpability for it. It is, in fact, my tax dollars, my ingenuity, my life energy that have gone into making this place what it is, and I am not free from culpability in all that it does. There is no escape from the web of what is and my existence within it, my culpability within it. And in that moment of acknowledging what is without turning away, our true capacity for agency is born. Our capacity to decide, I am implicated. This is happening. It is happening for all the reasons that we can see. From imperialist, colonialist mindsets to resource exploitation to the devaluation of certain kinds of people. All those patterns that we perceive in history are real things that must be navigated, but they cannot be navigated as long as we're in denial about them. Navigation becomes possible after we open our eyes, and that's what supplication implies. Supplication says, I am at the mercy of the world as it unfolds, and yet I am here. I am here and I get to make choices. One choice that I'm going to make later today, small as it is, trivial as it is, perhaps almost insignificant as it is, but me and about 6 other people from this church, you're welcome to join if you want. We are going to go at 1 o'clock this afternoon. We're going to stand in the Georgetown Town Square and we're going to sing songs of resistance. And maybe it's a weak gesture. But maybe, as I suggested last week, it never was more than a fool's hope. Us finding the way toward a just world where we can all thrive together. Maybe it never was more than a fool's hope. But it's still the one I carry. And it's only an errand one can undertake with an attitude of supplication to what is. If you lie to yourself about the odds of the thing, that's just another form of delusion. If you lie to yourself about the powerlessness that you're facing, it's just another form of delusion. The deck is stacked. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not arguing that we're not existing in a coercive system where there might be outsized repercussions to certain choices you might make in your life, and that you did not create the ground conditions for those decisions. I made the terrible joke with my wife a year ago that she still does not like, that I deeply suspect that if I don't end up in a Salvadoran death camp in the next 3 years. It just means I didn't do enough. Now, that's only partly funny, right? Like, part of the reason it's funny is because it feels a little too close to home to really laugh about it. I told you last week, I'm not going to be the one who calls and says, you know that time you feared? That time when it's time for you to stand up and make a hard choice, it's here. I'm not the switchboard operator on that telephone. But this thing that we call life, love, Gaia, God, this thing that gives us a shared sense that love in the center means something, it has such a switchboard. And it may call you. And my job, as I see it, is to attune your ear to the sound of the ringing so that when it rings, you know to reach and pick it up. My job, if I understand it correctly, is to attune your ears to the sound of the voice of the divine so that when you pick up that call and it says the hard time is here, you can hear the wise counsel of that voice in your own ear and your own heart. Because the voice of the divine and the energy of the divine working among us is one of those things to which we are supplicant. And I don't care whether your view of that energy is mystical, metaphysical, or purely natural. Because regardless of your beliefs about it, you can sit down in a room with another human being and experience it. You can experience its real manifestation as something felt between us and among us that goes deeper than just us. One of my favorite UU sayings is that we don't have to think alike to love alike. But we can get in a room one-on-one or in a small group or in a big group like this, and we can feel the love. And unless we are living in our own form of denial, we have to acknowledge that it means something. The existence of the love itself means something. I talked last week about how our willingness to show up and love things opens us to being hurt. Because that's what love is. Love is also the loss of the beloved, as I was deeply reminded at the memorial service yesterday. I was reminded that even in times when we've had a falling out with someone, and maybe we didn't leave on the best terms, that there were still moments of deep connection that happened, and they meant more. Those moments of deep connection meant more than the little fights we had. The moments when we really saw each other one-to-one as human beings, as divine spirits inhabiting this amazing and mysterious thing called life. Those moments of seeing one another and being seen mattered more than the rest of it. We have to be supplicant to that truth. To the truth that we are more than our woundedness, more than our ability to cause harm to others. Our ability to heal and be healed is greater. I don't know if it lines up for you, but when I say those words, I hear the echo of Dr. King in my heart. The moral arc of the universe bends toward justice. A supple branch bends in the wind. The supple tree doesn't break in the storm. It yields to what must be yielded to in order to remain. It acknowledges the truth of the wind and the rain and the storm and the soil conditions and the rocks and all of it. They are its truth. Attention taken to its highest degree is the same thing as prayer. Attention taken to its highest degree. There's one more important thing I want to share with you, and then we'll do some more singing and things together. You all have heard a lot recently about the attention economy. Right? This is a thing that is, information technology revolution plus social media plus internet plus this and the way that it's being used algorithmically, and we're talking now about the attention economy. The ability for the algorithm to put the right thing right in front of your eyes as you're on Google or YouTube or wherever, that you're, I am interested in that. An invitation down the rabbit hole of doom scrolling. Or sometimes it's not doom. Sometimes it's joy scrolling, or it's curiosity scrolling, or whatever. But it knows that you as a human being have several attention traps. It's scanning for them, and when it finds them, it sends you the hook. And it'll send you the hook as long as you're willing to bite, just like any good fisherman would. But this attention economy thing only works for one reason, and this is what I want you to leave here with today. It only works to amplify attention grabbing in this way because attention is your most valuable resource, period. Your attention is the most valuable resource you possess in your life, full stop. Also, your primary act of stewardship in this life is the stewardship of your own attention and the energy of agency that flows with that attention to doing things in the world. But if any of you have sat knee to knee with somebody in a moment when you needed it and they gave you 100% of their attention, you know that attention is so wonderful, you don't even have to follow it with action. Attention itself is an action. Attention itself can hold a space for healing, for being seen, for making that deep human connection that makes life worth living, and waking up on a morning when war got started again, still livable and breathable and survivable. So I ask you this. If attention is the foundation of who you are, if it is another way of saying consciousness, and it is the most valuable resource that you have in your life, what are your stewardship practices? What do you do to steward the spending of this most valuable resource? Are you investing it in the places in your life that you want to grow? Or are you letting others catch you with their hooks and drag your attention where they would like it to be? Because as I suggested last week, that puts you on their puppet strings. You deciding where your attention goes makes you an agent of unpredictability. And I like that for you. I want that for you. I want you to become less predictable even to yourself than you think you are. And this is the first step. The first step is recognizing that your attention belongs to you. It doesn't belong to anyone else to command. And that of all the things in this life you can choose, the important choices all start there with how and where and when you grant your attention to this life that shows up as a gift every morning when you wake up. To this life that shows up as a gift every morning that you wake up. It's not an entitlement, and you are not at their beck and call. But you are at the call of something else asking for your supplication. The call of what is, and love, and life. They know your number. They want to know that when the time comes, you're going to pick up the call. Amen.
Each week we give an offering to sustain this spiritual home and to support the work of our fellowship. Today's offertory music is Glass, composed and performed by Hania Vani. May our gifts and this music be blessings. The offering will now be gratefully received.
God bless Hani Arani. And now we return to this beloved house where our covenant lives in the announcements and invitations we share. Even and especially when we leave some of them sitting on our seat. Our singing resistance group is meeting at the Georgetown Square today at 1 p.m. You're welcome to join us even if you didn't come to practice. If you'd like to officially join the group, please see Candace White and she'll help you get on the signal. On Wednesday, March 4th at 7 p.m., that's this coming Wednesday, we'll have our next full moon drum circle and celebration. This is a family-friendly event with a child care option. Next week, we will have a social justice meeting after service. Layla's family are at 70% of their fundraising goal to support her epilepsy surgery. If you've been meaning to make a donation but haven't yet, there are links and QR codes at the back table next to the orange painting. Also, they are in the messenger. As I announced earlier, Mr. Spoon has joined our RE team as a guide. We are still looking for one more possible guide, so if you think of someone, please send them our way. If anyone from here is going to Camp Allen to the women's retreat, please see Joan or Gil. Good enough. Joan and Gil, raise your hand. Okay, they're in the back there. So if you're going to the women's retreat, Camp Allen, see Joan and Gil. A reminder, if you did not early vote and you are voting in the primary election on Tuesday, you must vote at your precinct location. You can go to wilcotx.gov/elections to look up your sample ballot and precinct location. There are also handouts at the welcome table. I'm saying this because it is a change. Previously, there was precinct flexibility on actual election day that has been removed. Do not be a voter whose vote is excluded out of unawareness. Our next new member orientation will be on April 5th. There will be a sign-up sheet at the membership table, so if you're new to San Gabriel and interested in learning more, bookmark April 5th on your calendar. We'll have a 2-hour-ish meeting after service that day to give information to people who want to learn more about possibly joining our community. And as always, there is more going on in this church than I have time to tell you about from up here, so check the messenger and check your handout, and that's the news from this World House.
We close with words of covenant, promises we make to one another and to the world. Let us share them together in a unison reading. Love is the spirit of this community. Truth is our sacred quest. Justice is our prayer. We dwell together in peace. We seek wisdom in freedom. We serve life in fellowship. We grow in harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant.
Our returning song is Wake Now My Senses, number 298 in the gray hymnal. Please rise and body your spirit as you're able, and let us sing our way forward into the world renewed and strengthened together. We will sing verses 1, 4, and 5.
Wake now my senses and hear the earth call. Feel the deep power of healing to all. Keep with the web of creation your vow, giving the saving love shows us how. Wake now, my conscience, with justice thy God. Join with all people whose rights I not. Take not the granted a privileged place. God's love embraces the whole human race. Wake now, my vision, my ministry clear. Brighten my pathway with radiance here. Mingle my calling with all who will share. Work toward a planet transformed by our care.
Please recite after me the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame to remind us.
We extinguish this flame to remind us.
Love is the center.
Love is the center.
As we explore and rest.
As we explore and rest.
Engage and heal.
Engage and heal.
Love is our center.
Love is our center.
When only ashes remain.
When only ashes remain.
Love endures.
Love endures.
I'm going to sing it one more time all the way through, and I'm going to invite you to join me for the second singing. We'll see if I can't get better at this. Remember the way of the wind, and breathe and blow. Remember the way of the fire, and sparkle and glitter and glow. Remember the way of the water, and ebb and flow. Remember the way of the earth, and grow. Remember the way of the wind, and breathe and blow. Remember the way of the fire, and sparkle and glitter and glow. Remember the way of the water, and ebb and flow. Remember the way of the earth, and grow.